Hello, friends, family, and loved ones. This is Chef Ron Webster here. Hey, I just want to introduce you and welcome you to take a look at my first installment of a new series podcast. It's going to be a reaction channel as well as far as the culinary world goes, and this one's called Flavor to Savor. I just want to forewarn you, though, on this one that, because it's brand new and I'm working on editing and everything, I haven't got everything quite the way I want it. But the audio is there, and it may be audio only for some of the portions of the video. And again, I apologize for that. But nevertheless, I believe it's a video that if you clicked on it, particularly because of the link or because of who I am, I believe that you're going to enjoy it. So it's going to be Club Shay, his episode with Keith Lee. All right. So we're calling this episode 1 of Flavor to Savor, as I'm a chef. So everything's all in the culinary world related, and it's Club Shay with the life and times of Keith Lee. Enjoy. Hey, what's going on, y'all? Hey, my name is Ronald. My friends and everybody, they call me Ron. But here's the thing about that. I just want to introduce myself and let you know that though they call me Ron, there's different variations of my name because I wear several different variation of hats. You know what I mean? And I'm not talking about just the San Francisco hat, the navy blue one I'm wearing now. I'm wearing that because I am a 49ers fan. I am from the Bay Area, which the 49ers represent. And I certainly wouldn't wear a Cowboys hat, so I needed a navy blue 49ers. So with that being said, why is that important? I'm also known as DjRon-TheClassicDJ from the Bay. That is the Bay Area, California. Precisely the city of Richmond, California, all right? But I'm also known as Deacon Ron. I'm also known as Reverend Ron. And I'm also known as Chef Ron. So in this particular video, I'm going to be coming to you as Chef Ron of Humble Serving Catering, as you can see in the background. Specialize in barbecue and Southern Comfort catering, all right? So we love to serve the Christian community. We love to serve the corporate community, and we love to serve people that want to celebrate, all right? So there you have it. Christian, corporate, celebrating. All right, the phone number is 510-776-5100. And where are we located? Who knows? And, the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. You know what I mean? So I won't restrict myself nowhere because God is not restricted to any one place. You know what I'm saying? So you got the phone number, 510-776-5100. If you need some catering done, let's talk and let's see what can be done. And everything else, we would love to serve you. As a matter of fact, we want to serve you. All right, and your people too. So look, here's this first episode of this video. I believe I'm gonna call it Flavor to Savor. And the reason why I'm doing this video on this particular topic is because got wind that Club Shay, I'm sure you're familiar with Shannon Sharp. I love him on my favorite TV show, First Take, with Stephen A. When he's on there on Mondays and Tuesdays, he's definitely added to it. But Shannon also had his own podcast, we know he's a Hall of Famer. We know all that good stuff and everything else. Won a Super Bowl. Is it 2? He won 3 Super Bowls, as a matter of fact. 2 with the Broncos, 1 with the Baltimore Ravens. So definitely respect the man and his hustle. He's got podcasts and content all over the place, as well as what he does with Stephen A. Right? So many people didn't know about Club Shay. As a matter of fact, I saw an episode or 2, but it was when Cat Williams came on there that he just exploded, right? That's when everybody kind of caught on to it. So look, I catch different episodes, particularly if it's somebody I want to see on there. Shout out to him for having Glorilla on there and Megan Thee Stallion. If you know the story about him and Megan Thee Stallion, that was a big step for him to get that on there. And let me go ahead and get some light on my head. So you know what I mean? I've already represented for the Bay. So look, no, seriously though. It just gave us a chance. It gave me a chance to hear Glorilla much more in person, in depth. You know what I'm saying? And she seems to be a very down-to-earth young lady. She's had some trials and stuff since then, though, or whatnot. Hopefully she wanted to go to trial. But that's neither here nor there. The reason why I'm doing this video tonight is because I saw last night that Keith Lee was going to be on here. You know what I mean? And I just, I posted on my Facebook that, hey, Wednesday YouTube is about to be lit, because not only that, we have Pop the Balloon and Find Love, which my son and I are doing a reaction to that. But I wanted to get to Keith Lee first because I believe in what Keith Lee is doing. As I said, as a reverend and whatnot, and someone been in the culinary industry, I understand how hard it is when you open a restaurant and you can cook, and you're cooking good food, but the people don't know you can cook. The people barely know you have a restaurant, and the people did not come and try your food. Enter Keith Lee, and he will come in, he will try your food, and if it's good and whatnot, he does a review, and when it's good, he posts the review, and when it's good, you go from no customers to too many customers, more than you can handle. Now, the thing about it, Keith Lee is not the first food influencer I heard of, though. The first one I heard of was Chime Time, and I just got to share this story because I've seen how influential these food influencers can be. All right, so I can tell you a quick story. I told you I'm from Richmond, California. I was visiting the city of Houston, most precisely Katy, Texas. It's just, it's just a city away from Houston. It's considered the Houston area. Matter of fact, most people that live there may say they're from Houston, just so they explain, like I'm trying to explain where Katy, Texas is at, right? But it's right there. And a friend of mine from the city of Richmond, because I'm a DJ, he came back home to the city of Richmond, did this thing for Thanksgiving 5 or 6 years ago. I believe it was 2019. And a community event where he invited all the homeless and everything else. I believe he was going, like Jesus said, hey, bring in all the people that basically can't afford to eat or nothing like that. I'm having this big feast. We're going to feed the homeless, the down and out people and everything else. So Mr. McCullough of I'm Bill Soul Food in Katy, Texas, and now in Fairfield, California, had an event like that, right? He had barbers there and everything else, and then he had me to DJ and tell me he just want a family, a home for the holiday kind of thing. Not necessarily Christmas songs, nothing like that, but Luther Vandross and those Mays and Frankie Beverly, those kinds of songs and whatnot. Of course, they did some cha-cha slide and Cupid shuffle and all that. But here's my point: he never knew me personally. I knew who he was. I went to school with his brother in 8th grade. Knew who he was. We're Facebook friends, but he didn't know me yet. He took the liberty to accept the recommendation that said, if you want this DJ, if you need a DJ, Ron is the one to call. So he called me, and I just appreciate him for that. So naturally, when I went to the Houston area, I'm going to go support his restaurant just like he supported me in my endeavors, all right? So I go there. I'm talking with Kevin. I'm eating some great food, by the way, great food. And while I was there, he sat down, he talked to me about 3.5 hours. I'm supposed to be heading on my way to go see a relative in the Houston area. And we just talked and we talked and we talked. And it was just like a great conversation. Why he moved from Richmond to Katy, how he stood on that corner and passed out samples of his food, which led to the establishment, the restaurant he had then, right? So we were there. There was like maybe a couple other customers there. Some people sitting over there, they left. And then another couple came in with their little kid. And Kevin is just a very, very good family person. I mean, a good friend, a good people person, put it like that. I consider myself a people person too, but I'm an introvert. I think he's a people person and an extrovert. This man did something that I hadn't seen before. He told him he saw the husband and wife with their, I don't know, well, maybe mom, baby, daddy, husband and wife, the couple with their kid. He was like, let the kid come sit over here with me and let mom and dad have their fun. And I just thought that was beautiful, right? So I finally got my chance to leave. Fast forward about 6 months later, October, my birthday was in July, I go back. This time when I go to the restaurant, the line is out the door. And, this quick little tidbit. 24 tables inside the restaurant, right? First time I told you how many people were there. This time, every seat is taken. So the host at the door, as a matter of fact, he didn't have a host first time. This time he's got a host. The host told me that it's going to be a 3-hour wait. And I'm like, really, 3 hours? Why? He said, well, it's going to be an 1.5 hour wait for you to get a table and another 1.5 hours to get your food because we cook everything from scratch. I'm like, wow, I ain't come all the way from Richmond, California to Houston, Texas to say that's okay. You know what I mean? I said, that's all right, I'll do it. So I noticed he had a to-go line. Me, having the culinary background I have degrees in both culinary arts and restaurant management. I peeped the scenery and I already knew what I was going to do. I go to the to-go line, order my food, it's going to be an 1.5 hour wait. And as soon as the table became available, I sat down. So needless to say, I was there for about 3 hours. 4 hours, including the food, because I ordered another waffle because the waffle was so good. So in the midst of that, I said, what's going on? He said, man, there's this video that's out there and it's got everybody coming to come check our food out. And I thought about it. I was like, you know what? I saw that video. As a matter of fact, 2,000 miles away, the video is viral where I'm at and people can't even go to the restaurant. So imagine what the locals were doing. So this time I got to see Kev. Kev couldn't even share 3 seconds with me this time. Hey, Ron, what you doing here? Yada, 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 and went on about his business. Now, one other important tidbit, and I'm not saying this to brag it like that, but again, because I have a culinary background and the way my culinary school was set up, the curriculum is an actual restaurant. And so what I learned that as much as I like to cook and as much as people love my cooking, an introverted people person, I love dealing with the people. I love serving tables. That's what I do. That's why the name of my company is called Humble Servant. That's the vision that God gave me, right? So I told the host, I said, look, let Kev know that Ron Webster's here. That's my last name. And if he wants me to, I would be glad to serve tables. You know what I mean? Even though I don't know the floor plan. Restaurant people, y'all know what I'm talking about with the floor plan, but I'd be glad to serve people. I'm not going to try to go in the kitchen and cook all your recipes. No. But I can serve. Anybody that knows how to serve can serve. So anyway, needless to say, I don't think the host told him, because when Kev saw me, he was surprised to see me. That's a whole other story. The man business was out the door. Why? Is because the fluid influencer by the name of Chime Time did it. So I love Chime Time's videos and whatnot. Chime Time goes in on people when the food ain't good, and he gives you love when the food is good. All right, let's get back to Keith Lee. Keith Lee is kind of the same, but Keith Lee is a very humble individual. He does not like to tear anybody down, right? So anyway, that shows you where my interests come from. I hope I didn't take too long for you. I hope that you enjoy the reaction to this video. I don't know what's going to be said, how it's going to be said. It's going to be my first time seeing it. It just debuted on today. Probably have this video up either tonight or tomorrow, so it'll be the day after the video. But hey, let's take a look at it together, especially if you're not a Club Shay fan or don't watch all the time. Here's a great time for us to watch it together, all right? So look, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to leave from this here, and we're going to go ahead and jump into the video.
Y'all know who it is. It's your favorite, and I'm riding around here in Vegas with my guy Keith Lee, and he's the internet's most popular and famous food critic. He was named one of Forbes' 30 under 30 class member for 2024. A viral food and local restaurant reviewer, charitable influencer, and advocate for small businesses. One of the top digital content creators, social media superstar and sensation. King of...
Pause real fast. Look, this video is a 3-hour video, so I might break it up into 3 segments because, you know, it's a reaction. So I'm going to be stopping, maybe talking. I anticipate stopping and talking. Just want to let you know, forewarn you. So if you see this video as X amount of time, don't worry about it. It's going to be part 1, part 2, and part 3. His video is 3 hours. This video is going to be about an hour. We'll pause. We'll come back. We'll do this part 2 and so forth. All right, till we get all videos done. All right. It's just like a big old steak. You know, you don't just eat it at one time. You just eat it in bites. That's how we going to do this.
TikTok food community. He has over 19 million followers between TikTok and Instagram. A former mixed martial arts fighter, beloved father, husband, and he's the people champ. Keith Lee.
God is amazing, man. I'm honored.
God is amazing. We love the Lord too. That's another reason why I chose this video. Why not react to it? I was gonna watch it anyway. Why not react to what I watch? I don't know much about Keith Lee, so I'm finna learn just like you're about to learn. See some good food, see what some good places to go in Las Vegas and wherever else.
I'm excited about this.
Who you was intro, and I said, who that? I don't know who that man is.
But I appreciate this tour of Vegas and some of the local hot spots.
Let's do it. Yeah, I'm excited.
I'm super excited.
Sure.
Calabash African Kitchen.
What are the 5 best cities for food?
Top 5.
Good question.
In order?
You can put them in order if you like, or you can just give me your top 5.
My order, personally.
Yes.
New Orleans is number 1.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Houston is number 2.
Okay.
They own
Chicago
up.
is number 3.
Wow.
Okay, you better Chicago.
Toronto will be 4.
Okay.
Right now, I would go Miami. Yeah, if I had to think of where I would go back, I would go Miami for sure.
Man.
But top 3 is solid. My top 3 is New Orleans, Houston, and Chicago.
I agree. I ain't been in Chicago.
No Atlanta, no New York.
Oh, what?
So,
not New York?
Very specific reasons why I say that, right?
Yeah.
So for those that don't know, we go on food tour, but we go on food tour for people that look like us and people who come from the background that we come from.
Okay.
So we specifically do it for people that can jump on a plane, that are foodies and just want to go try food.
Right.
So I don't do it in a way where you can go call the biggest influencer in that city or the biggest celebrity and have them chauffeur you around and show you places.
Mm-hmm.
I do it specifically for people that literally just want to go try food.
Okay.
So we go to spots that are more on the unknown level, places that only locals know about. If you know kind of places that have great food, great customer service, but can need the marketing. But we also go to staples of the community to show respect to each city that we go to. So when I'm picking these places that are my top 5, is more on accessibility.
Okay.
Like, what's the easiest to jump on a plane and just go get some great food?
Okay.
And I feel like New York isn't in that top 5 for me because the accessibility to know the spots is really hard to find great spots unless you're from there. And if you do meet somebody that's from there, if y'all not super close, if you just meeting this person for the first time, they more than likely not gonna give you the spots that they go to.
Right.
Because 1, they don't want the spots blown up, so they don't want everybody there. 2, they aren't a super welcoming group of people.
Right.
They want you
New York is
to
cold.
be a tourist
heard.
and that's it. But once you start venturing off of that and you start digging into like local spots and spots they've been going to for years and spots they have nostalgia attached to, they don't want no parts of it.
Okay, that's understandable. The man is doing a great work.
Best cities to get pizza in.
New York got that.
New York got the best
New York
pizza.
got
Okay,
that was
New
one
York
of the best
style.
things that we had when we was there was pizza. I'm from Detroit, so I like a deep dish,
Oh,
big,
yeah.
hearty,
I'll try, but I
bready
ain't a
and
deep
full.
dish.
Oh, I'm a deep
I like
dish.
the thin.
See, but that's because you from Atlanta.
Yeah,
Understood.
yeah. I feel
Are
like
you
I
born
need
and raised
a
in LA?
piece of cake. I'm from South Georgia.
Georgia. Understood. Understood.
Yeah, but I see like when I get that deep dish, I feel like I'm eating a piece of cake or something.
That's pretty much it. Yeah. See, now if you don't like a super thick, then I would say. But personally, like I'm from Detroit, so I like a deep dish. I like the dough to be super high quality and to be the main focus.
What about what's the 5 most underrated cities?
Oh, you put me on the spot.
Ooh,
Let's go
underrated.
there, Shannon. Top 5
Let's hear it.
most
Let's hear it.
underrated. I will go Detroit. I feel like not a lot of people know that Detroit has a food scene.
Chime said the same thing. Chime said
Seattle.
the same thing.
I
Seattle.
feel like it's one of those places, again, if you know, you know. If you're a true foodie, you know Seattle has
Yeah.
a great food scene.
Yeah.
Baton Rouge. Baton Rouge is a place that is very
hour
specific
from New
now.
Orleans.
Like,
About an hour from
it's-
there. It's understandable.
It's black people,
Yeah.
country food. So if you are into country food, I'm talking about hog maw, neck bone,
Yeah.
smothered, everything smothered and covered, then Baton Rouge is definitely
Smothered and
a
covered.
underknown spot. Oh, Arizona. That's perfect. Arizona. I feel like Arizona is underrated. And the reason I say that is because you get a lot of healthy
What
spots, but
city in
you also
Arizona?
get very authentic, from my knowledge,
What city in Arizona? Because Arizona's a state. It's Phoenix, Flagstaff. What about? Let's see if he said.
authentic
Southwestern.
southwestern food. Even
careful,
they have a
Southwest
really
personally.
big native population, so you
Absolutely,
get native
yeah.
food.
Yep.
And I've never been to a place that has native food.
Right.
Milwaukee got a good food scene that's pretty underrated.
Wow.
Milwaukee,
Oh,
Wisconsin.
Dallas.
Dallas has some
Dallas
good
got a
food.
food scene
I
that's
feel it.
definitely
I feel
underrated.
it.
Really?
For
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
It's hit or miss because it's a place that like doesn't have much of a big food culture other than barbecue
Right,
and
yeah.
southern
Yeah.
Texas roots. But as far as stepping into other cuisines and other ethnicities, they don't really do it that much.
Right.
So, but the barbecue alone carries.
Yeah.
It's some of the best barbecue I've ever
I
had in my
agree.
life.
What about the worst?
Terry
When you
Black's
go
is
like, man, y'all they be hyping
Smoking
this up,
John.
but it ain't even
Smoking
like
John.
that.
Smoking John.
Food-wise?
By the airport. Love field. Spot.
Yeah. So
You know, you gonna fit start talking about it, lad. I just want you to know. That's my home.
Just based
So-
off of our experience.
Absolutely. So for me, Atlanta, and I'm so happy you asking this. Atlanta had really good food. Atlanta had a good food scene. It's just you had to be somebody in order to get food. Do you have to name drop when you go to Atlanta and get food?
Nah, cause I really don't go. The places that I go to, they kind of know me. So when I call and they gonna take care of me. But I ain't. No.
But do you feel like if they didn't know Shannon Sharp?
No, hell no, I
and-
ain't getting in. They ain't just be like, hell
And
no.
that's exactly why I say we do the food.
I ain't been to a lot of spots in Atlanta. We went to one spot that was kind of country. Part of Atlanta, probably was in a suburb of Atlanta. Food was off the chain. I remember they had an officer standing at the door, like an undercover officer, like we got in the Bay. Matter of fact, I guess maybe it's a club crowd come through or whatever. Let me rephrase. In the Bay, the grocery stores, just about everywhere, they have off-duty police officers who can carry guns to secure the spot. You know what I'm saying? So it's a common thing because we have a lot of theft and everything in the Bay. Do the laws. Don't ask questions. Just Google it. Google petty theft or shoplifting in Oakland. You'll see stores closed. It's crazy. On that note, Keith Lee came to the Bay Area and cut his trip short because of some of the crazy stuff that's going on in the Bay Area. You know what I mean? That's home, though. I love it. But I understood what he was saying when he did it. He said his point was the people that need me, you know, they're in tough areas or whatnot, few and far in between or whatever, couldn't really get to them. Plus, it was a lot of homeless and people breaking your cars and stuff. Like I said, I won't say it, but I'm saying a whole lot of stuff that's going on. And then he wanted the people that the good spots got good customers already. So it's like he didn't need to blow them up. And COVID is evident of that. California was closed down longer than I think any other state. And during that time, the best of the best restaurants are still the best of the best restaurants to this day. 5 years later, they're still going strong. A lot of restaurants did not make it. A lot of places did not make it, unfortunately, either because they couldn't adapt or their food just wasn't all that. They got exposed, and that's that. You know what I mean? But he did come to the Bay, and shout out to him. He cut the trip. He cut the trip short, and maybe he'll go back and do some spots or whatnot. I got a couple of them for him too. DM me, Keith Lee. I got a couple of spots for you too. You know what I'm saying? So look, let's go.
Perfect people that really want to jump on a plane and just go get food.
Yeah.
If we go to a place specifically because I'm Keith Lee and we go eat at the best restaurant and people want to jump on a plane and go try that spot,
they're not going to be able to get the service. They're not going to be able to get it. Not only the service, they're not going to be able to get the food. Right.
They're going to go in there and they're like, oh, we ain't got no bookings for the rest of the day.
Right.
This, that, third. But let Shannon Sharp walk in. We got 6 tables is wide open. We about to clean them right now. You get the fresh food. So that's one of the main catalysts of why we do what we do.
So it's not so much the food, it's the service.
Absolutely.
In order to get
Absolutely.
the food.
Yeah,
okay.
For sure.
Are you surprised you got so much blowback for when you critiqued Atlanta and you let them know that it's not so much the food,
Tom critiqued them too, so he did that. All right.
You're not getting in. They're always crowded. They're always booked, and and they only treat people that of influence.
Was I surprised? No, because it's like ripping a Band-Aid off of something that people didn't know was a scar, right?
Let me just say that hat and sweater's fire. I like to dress real nice too. You know what I mean? This is kind of, you know what I mean, just a little feeler shirt or whatnot, sweats, whatever. But that sweater, that jacket is fire. I don't know if they're in the back of a Range Rover or what. I don't see no logo or nothing, but they definitely rolling clean. It's something clean. You know what I'm saying? So.
If you from there and you was born and raised in that environment, you don't know no better. Right. You think that that's what the food scene is, and you think that's what culture is, right? Because that's part of Atlanta's culture.
Right.
I just came from a perspective of somebody who wasn't from there and somebody who was experiencing it for the first time. The death threats and whatnot, was I surprised about that? Yeah. That was the first time I ever experienced something like that.
People taking food that serious?
Oh, it's bad. It's real. Even in DC, we got a death threat from a guy who's a rapper out there. And he talking about next time he come, instead of reviewing food, we gonna review his life or something like that. No. We just eating food, man. Yeah, it's like, my opinion isn't the end all be all. No. I understand that everybody has a different opinion on food.
Just keep doing your thing, man. He's very honest about it from what I could see. You know what I mean? Same thing with Chinatown. You know what I'm saying? The place I've been to where he didn't went to, the food was all that. Shout out Guy Fieri, who's also from the Bay Area. Diners, Dives, and Drives. You know what I mean? I wish I would have thought that I could do what they were doing, and I probably, who knows, I just might. You know what I'm saying? I know it's a crowded field. It's a lot of people doing it. It's a crowded field, but food is my first love, though. You know what I'm saying? I used to say DJ is my first love, but now food was my first love, and deep music is my second love. So, shout out to, man, the honesty is what we need. That's what we want. Don't nobody, last thing he wants is somebody say Keith Lee didn't know what he was talking about. This food is horrible. You know what I'm saying? Because he got paid to say something good. And vice versa, you know what I'm saying? So keep doing what you're doing, Keith. Keep doing what you're doing, China. And shout out to Guy Fieri. I still watch episodes of that. I used to say, I ain't gonna say what I used to say, but if I saw that red Camaro though on the freeway, it might be an accident. New host.
And I always say that, but I get how the internet gets too. And I don't blame them because people are prideful in where they come from.
Right.
And people have a lot of love and nostalgia in the city that they come from, and they feel personally attacked. And I want to put it on the record right now that when we go for the food tour, it's not to find what the best food is. It's specifically to highlight the restaurants that have great food, great customer service, but can need marketing and don't get the marketing specifically because either they're in a food desert to where a lot of people don't have access to the food that they would need or want, or 2, it's a location-based place, or 3, it's a place where the owners have put so much into the restaurant itself that they don't have the time or the money to market.
Right.
Because a lot of people who do food reviews, that's why I don't consider myself a food influencer or a food creator, any of that, because I don't charge restaurants anything.
Right.
When I first started, people was telling me I could charge anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 per video for a restaurant. And I know people that do that charge way more than that. But I specifically do it for the restaurants, and I don't charge them a dime. So that's what the food tour is about. It's about marketing these places, and it's about going out and trying food that my mom can go in the next day and get the same experience that we got.
It's a blessing. Restaurant, they know they need it. They'll tell you that.
Yeah,
Okay,
Atlanta had
brunch.
good brunch. Yeah. Atlanta had good brunch for sure. Yeah.
You
Atlanta
call
has
hell
good food.
getting in there for brunch.
Yeah, Atlanta, and I don't want that to be mistaken at all. Atlanta has really good food.
You're not saying they don't have good food.
Yeah, Atlanta has
or
really
good
good
brunch,
food.
anything. You're just saying the customer service,
I
the
really
way.
like the people in Atlanta. I love how many.
I gotta contradict that just for a moment. That the second thing I talked about the place in the country where food was good, officer with the gun or whatever. He wasn't an officer, but he was strapped there and whatnot. The other place we went to, shout out to Kenny Burris and the Old Lady Gang. We went there, and it just so happened to be the day that the 49ers played the Falcons out there. So my son and I got an opportunity to go to the game, and let me tell you, Falcon Stadium is like the best venue, period, for any sporting event I've ever been to so far. Except for the Warriors, when the Warriors was on their Oracle thing, Warriors, that's about the only thing. But as far as the experience, they had Big Ticket, a DJ, they had a little baby performing at halftime or something like that, a real concert during the game. And then they even had the HBCU band down on the field, you know what I'm saying? But all the music they played was Atlanta music, Usher. Yeah, and Lil Jon and all that. And I thought about it because they all from Atlanta, you know. Well, that's a way to represent your town, you know what I'm saying? Put on for your city, you know what I mean? Matter of fact, they had some Jeezy that day too. But Old Lady Gang, after the game, I guess all the 49er fans knew that because the place was packed with red and white jerseys. 49er fans all over the place, but the food was really good. Salmon bites is something that I even have on my menu now. Those things were so good. And the bartender, who was our server, was good. I loved it. You know what I'm saying? I said I'll go back there again. You know what I mean? Only thing they need was some parking. That's all. But great restaurants. So not all restaurants treat you bad. You get what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to say.
Us is out there. I love the wealth that's out there and the things that those kids that are from there are exposed to when it comes to black wealth, when it comes to black excellence, when it comes to a community that's built around us, for us. I never want that to be lost in translation. When it comes to the mecca of what we do and the highlight of us is Atlanta. But at the same time, if you ain't got a certain status or a certain million followers, you better cook at home. For sure.
Or eat before you leave at home because the wait will be a minute.
1,000%.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check this Jello Frost. I've been hearing about it.
Me and Unc are at Calabash African Kitchen, and he trying fufu for the first time. He said they ain't never had it, so.
Fufu and oxtails.
And this is a place, in my opinion, that I've had before. That's a 10 out of 10.
I've had fufu before. Believe me, it's an overrated experience. No, some of y'all know. Rest in peace to James Earl Jones, King Juffy Juffer. But no, seriously, Mom had a Nigerian boyfriend. We had fufu. I was tired of fufu. I had fufu coming out of my ears overnight. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it's a little overrated, Nigerian food. That's me, though. Maybe I got to go to a good restaurant or something like that. I'm open to that.
Call my family here whenever they come in town. So here we got the oxtails.
What if they look good?
We got a big potato in the middle with the oxtails on the outside. We got carrots and then its own au jus, its own juices.
Had that dish
Now, you
before.
said a bunch of people told you about fufu.
Yes.
Like Kamaro.
Yeah,
Potato.
Michael Blackson, Kamaru Usman,
Well, they were cheap.
Francis Ngannou.
And he out of all people is the one that got
Late
fufu in
80s,
your hand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that?
Say that.
So-
God is amazing.
So what I do, I
So you take off the plastic and you take your little nibble. They are much more experienced than I am when it comes to fufu.
that's all that little bit you got.
Take me a little dab of do. Get you in there. Make sure you get you a good piece of the meat. And these oxtails falling off the bone too.
As they should.
Talk to me, Unc.
Fufu.
That's the way we eat oxtails. Oh, shit. That's country boy eating.
You're supposed to swallow it and not chew it, but I'm not advanced for that yet. So please, if you have to, chew it up. It's seasoned, it's tender, flavored, literally from the beginning to the end.
The fufu is something I don't know what to compare it to because I've never had it before.
It's more a tool to use to get all of the flavors that's in the dish itself.
Yeah.
So usually the dishes are very flavorful.
Well, it's definitely got a purpose, for sure.
So you just use that as like a breakup, kind of like you would a white rice.
Right,
Not saying
yeah.
I'm comparing it to white rice, but like kind of a breakup of the flavor. So you
They
get
eat everything with their hands, so the fufu
I
is
like
a
the
good
oxtails.
vehicle,
I do,
vessel to get the food to your mouth.
but I've had more tender.
Understood.
But I do like the flavor though.
But you ate it out of the
They season to perfection. The flavor, the seasoning.
Jamaican oxtails. I gotta say that is the best.
I combine everything.
Ever.
This
We
ain't
make
bad.
that. Humble servant make
That's
that.
real good.
And those are the best
Yeah,
ever.
Shannon.
I'm not trying to be arrogant.
Hey, that's
Let
right.
the food
Especially
speak for
somebody
itself,
who's
but I
never
gotta
had
let y'all know.
oxtail done in this way.
Till you taste it and prove me
done
wrong.
with food for itself. Almost a 9. It's crazy. Yeah, in my opinion, this is a 10. I wouldn't change anything about this dish. Only thing, you're right, it is a little less tender than I would like it. But I think that's done during a batch, or it can be changed during a batch.
Right.
Certain batches are a little more tender than other batches.
Of course.
Plus the thing you got to factor in is that when a restaurant cooks, they're cooking for a lot of people. So it's kind of really hard to control it when you're cooking for so many. Normally when I have my
prefer
oxtails,
cooking
I'm
for a
at
lot of
home,
people.
they're cooking for 1 to 2 people.
As opposed to just for
So I
myself,
really can control everything.
a couple of people.
But look,
I've had it
I
from
promise you,
50, 60,
I promise you,
They are delicious.
you won't be disappointed
Loving
with this.
it.
Absolutely.
You will not.
Let me ask you this. Is it worth the mentioning and the hype that you've been getting for years from multiple people, the people you just named, and just people in general, especially being from African descent?
Yeah, I see people eat it. I see a lot of times you see shows where they're
Sitting
doing
straight
it.
up working
'Cause
on my
I always
neck. I
wondered
got
what
it.
it was. I was like, what's that little white?
Each nerve in my neck, so I'm
ball they
working
got?
sitting straight
And
up. trying to-
they explained to me that it was
Yeah,
fufu. It was a native dish. I like it. Like I said, I don't really know what to compare it to, so I couldn't. The taste, I don't really know if I've ever tasted anything quite like this. So
I think it's just a
I
heavy
haven't
carb.
had African oxtails, so
I
I
think it's just a
tried.
good carb substitute.
They tender, they come off
And
that
it's,
bone.
it's handmade most times.
That's
It's hand
doing it.
kneaded and hand mashed. You can
All right,
just
let's-
taste
let's-
the love
let's
and
go
time
for it,
and
go
care
for it,
they
y'all.
put into it. In my opinion, if you've never been to Calabash African Kitchen here in Vegas on Rainbow,
Calabash
I
African
would
Kitchen. Remember the
absolutely
name of
come
that
try it
place.
yourself.
oh yeah, for
You
sure.
out there, you know where to go.
Yeah, I would definitely tell someone to order the oxtail.
That's fire. They do not skimp. Like it be places that do oxtail, and you can tell they grab like the
Cut 'em-
smallest or the
they
lower,
cut 'em
lower
thin.
barrel quality.
Yeah.
This is
That's the whole thing
very,
right there.
very much up there.
Big
From
cut,
any
big
oxtail
cut.
place I went to as far as quality and size.
When did this oxtail craze take off? Because I remember, God, are you ready?
You know what? He was just about to say something. I mentioned in the 80s that they was cheap. I asked right to remember. It wasn't in the 90s because my mother went with the boyfriend in the 90s. It was in the 80s.
Text code.
And
Yeah,
oxtails used to
now
be
they got-
so cheap that we used to have oxtails all the time. I got burnt out on oxtails by the time I was like 11 years old. We was having oxtails every other day, seemed like with some potatoes. Then my grandmama, God rest her soul, one of the most beautiful women ever, started making spaghetti with oxtails, and it was just like, oh my, oxtails. But now, oxtail, Jamaican oxtails especially. Yeah.
They put them in everything. They put them in Ritos. They put them in.
You said Ritos?
Yeah,
Got a message.
oxtails were not meant to be put in tacos and burritos and all that other stuff.
That's about. I feel like because when I was growing up, oxtail was a very, very much a delicacy. It was a scarce meat because it was so expensive, and if you did have it, you only had a few of them.
He's only 30.
I think nowadays everything is expensive. So if you go buy some chicken wings, you might as well go out and buy some oxtails because that's what the people want to eat right now. So I feel like that pretty much helps the decision to go and spend on expensive meat because every meat nowadays is expensive.
Got a little kick to it too.
A little spicy, got your
spicy.
nose running.
Do you try crazy foods? Have you tried crazy foods?
What you consider crazy?
I mean, I ate as a kid. I ate raccoon. I ate squirrel. I ate rabbit.
That's
ate
a rabbit.
turtle.
Auntie Mary make the best rabbit ever.
No, I try anything that I always say I'll try anything once.
Right. So you would try raccoon, possum.
Yeah, I'll try it once.
Yeah, go
When
ahead.
I like it,
You
I
can have
don't
my
know.
portion.
Right.
You eat but how do you eat it? You eat like cold soup?
No. You bake it. You
Like
put it in,
baked corn?
you put it in the oven. You cut it up. Bell peppers, onions, celery. You put it in the
Oh,
oven.
you're a different kind of country, Shannon. No, wait.
Okay,
I'm
do
not
it.
gonna lie to you and say I won't because again I'm a foodie, so
Right.
I get very interested in stuff. I'm the type to my family be getting mad at me all the time.
Right.
I'm the type to walk into a random establishment and be like, "Oh, we was in Seattle and we walked by and we saw ducks hanging out the window.
Yes,
sir.
We walked in, got a duck. He cut the head off right in
That's
front of
what's
us.
up.
We went in the car and ate it.
That's
That was
what
my
it is.
first time ever
Good.
doing something like that.
Duck
But
is roast duck. If you never had it, Chinese restaurant, Peking duck.
It depends on where you get it from.
Yeah.
A lot of
Don't know
times
what you're
it
missing.
can be gamey.
Yes.
It can be a little too overpowering.
They
and
make a
chewy.
sauce for it. Better than
But the
chicken.
one we just had
Real
was super
talk.
crispy. It was flavorful. It was fresh. It was juicy. Like I said, they took it right off the rack and cut it in front of us.
You like quail? I like quail.
I like
That's
quail.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just had a quail
Cooked right.
egg, the scotch from when we was in Seattle. It was like
love quail.
a
Like
scotch
the eggs.
egg. It was wrapped
Eggs
and it was
cool.
fried, but it was a quail egg that was wrapped in bacon and then fried again on the outside. It was good.
Yeah,
Sure.
but you need to eat like 7 of them to get full.
Yeah, that's a fact. They like this. I eat, Shannon. Yeah, I'm an eating man.
Yeah.
For sure.
I saw when you ate the sushi worm.
I knew that was coming. So when we was in Seattle, we went to a place.
sushi.
It was a sushi spot.
Okay.
That a bunch of people were recommended.
Okay.
It was a staple of the community, and it was out the door when we went. So we went just to show respect to the city and go to a place that was a staple.
Okay.
I did the full review, did the full video. I posted it. 2 days later, somebody tagged me in a clip of them slowing it down, and on one of the nigiris, there was what seemed to be something moving. I can't confirm or deny what it was. I'm not gonna say it's a worm, a parasite, or anything. It was something that looked like it was moving. And I ate it. I had no idea what it was. I had no idea there was anything moving until somebody tagged me in that video.
Okay.
That whole thing spiraled into something else. Allegedly, I can't confirm or deny that this is specifically from the restaurant, but somebody was hospitalized a day after we left. And again, I can't confirm or deny it was from that restaurant. And in my mind, if anybody did go to a restaurant that we did go to and they were sick in any way, I came and spoke up about it because I wanted to send my heart and my support to that person.
Right.
They say,
You like-
Ain't that just like the devil? Every time we try to do right, he come on and do wrong. And, not to get too preaching them, but it's in the Bible. You know what I mean? Talk about a sower went out to plant, and he planted some good stuff, and then the enemy came overnight and planted some good grass, and the enemy came overnight and planted weeds along the grass. That's just a parable for life. That's the way it goes. Keep doing your thing, Keith.
Sushi.
I love sushi. Yeah.
I mean, I've never had it. I
Sushi.
just like my food cooked. I just can't.
You don't like nothing raw? No.
Fried California roll for you.
I can't.
I was about to say
Spicy
something.
tuna.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I
like some
I'm a
things wrong,
foodie.
but no.
Come on, Michelle.
I know where you going. See,
But yeah, no, I again, I'm a foodie. I can't have shellfish, but I explore with everything else other than shellfish.
that
So
restaurant got closed down, though, right?
allegedly, from what I hear, they did put a statement out and said that it was closed, but I believe it was closed because they are looking internally. The owners have reached out to me on a bunch of different occasions, and I get the impression that they are just fine-tuning things and getting things together.
Okay.
Because I don't get the impression that they were malicious in any fashion or that they were neglectful. I believe it just was a
Isolated incident.
I feel like it was just an unfortunate incident that was put on the internet, and I feel like anybody could have put on the internet and it would have blew up in the same manner. It just so happened to be that we were the ones that posted it.
Right.
But I truly believe that not only, in my opinion, I even gave the sushi that had the alleged whatever was moving on it, I gave it like an 8.5, and that was the highest thing out of the entire thing, out of the entire what I was eating, because in my opinion, it was delicious.
Right.
I just believe that once they take a step back and really see
Hopefully they'll come back stronger. And that's where you're going with it.
what it was that could have been an issue, that they'll be back better than ever. And I'm not opposed of going back and
That's where I was going. I
There
was
you
asking
go.
you,
Blow
would
'em
you
up.
be open to
Blow 'em
going back
up.
and offering another review?
Absolutely. I'm not opposed to going back if I'm welcomed. If it's not a review, if it's just having a conversation, if it's being back on opening day, and bringing my family and showing my support and showing that I mean it when I say I understand that as a business it's a lot harder than just food itself. And I have nothing but respect and love for them and what they do.
We're going to another spot. All right.
This is Badogis. These are Japanese-inspired egg drop sandwiches. So it is super thick, crispy bread that's cut down the middle and filled with sausage, cheese, egg, and this is the French toast version, so it's a little bit of icing on top.
Oh, we got a spot like that in the Bay Area in Concord. I think it's called Zombies or something like that. It's a good different way to have a breakfast meal, though. You know what I'm saying? Kids love it. High schoolers, they ones made it popular, so it's more than one location now. But definitely, I used to drive Uber around the Bay, and one of the riders, they told me about it. I was hungry, wanted something. I don't know McDonald's, no. Told me about this place, and whenever I see one, you know what I'm saying, I grab. I mean, if it's early in the daytime, they got one in Concord, Martinez, a couple other places. You know what I'm saying? It's like at least 4 or 5 locations. So this right here is kind of the same thing. This bread looks a little more complicated. Let's see what we got to say.
And then it's fresh toast bread instead of regular toast.
French toast is different.
So it's gonna be like a sweet, savory, spicy kind of ordeal. Ready?
Yeah, I can tell that's good. Despite how you react. When you can't talk,
Crazy.
I rock with this.
I rock with
Person
this.
anyway. And so
This is fantastic.
the egg was real fluffy.
Come on, food critic. Let's steal my job.
You won't be disappointed. Egg is really good. Sausage is good.
Look good.
The bread, sweet.
Like I said, this is a French toast version. So this is if you like a sweet, savory, like dessert kind of savory spot. This is definitely that. I feel like it really encompassed all that a great breakfast is in one sandwich.
I don't know if you're going to eat anything else. This day,
It'll do you.
No, seriously.
That's a fact.
Yeah, this is a meal.
And see, me, because I'm kind of big, I'm trying to slim down a little bit. I'm moving in the right direction. But what I do, though, to control my weight, I haven't gotten bigger. I'm trying to slim down, doing a little exercise and stuff like that. Working on me. You know what I'm saying? But as a rule, what I do, my family members can attest to this, even when I go out on some dates and stuff like that, when I date, you know what I mean? That sandwich right there, I might eat half that. Maybe half that. I might eat a third of it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times I go to places like that. We got another spot called Philly Cheesesteak, and I tell them cut it into thirds. You know what I'm saying? I do my best to just do a third of it. If I'm a little more hungry, though, really I'm hungry enough to eat a half, and I can eat a whole Philly cheesesteak sandwich. The large King Philly, y'all know what I'm talking about? I can eat the whole thing. I can eat that whole sandwich. I can eat a whole super burrito just for people just to, so you get the concept of what I'm saying. But I don't do that because I'm practicing that discipline of eating just a little bit. That's another reason why I don't go to McDonald's, with the exception of Filet-O-Fish sandwich. I eat half a Filet-O-Fish sandwich, maybe a few fries, if I have the fries or whatever, and then say the other half because it's reheatable and it's still going to taste as good. So this sandwich right here, I'm doing no more than a half and saving the other half for later. Just a tip to give, from a chef to whoever. You know what I mean? You want to get smaller or whatnot. You don't want to gain too much weight, eating what you eat and doing what you do. That's the way to go.
I mean,
It's very heavy.
yeah.
I'm about to go take a nap afterwards.
Sausage, eggs, potatoes,
To be
cheese,
able to
bread.
somebody to eat this whole thing in a sitting. Whew, I'm full.
He's the Hulk, and he's full.
You hit it out the park
You know
with
what I'm
this.
saying?
Understood.
You know what I
It's
mean?
amazing, man. I'm just thankful to be here.
Very talk.
I feel like this is a dream of mine. This is an understatement. Of me saying that I'm thankful to be here is an understatement.
Real.
I just appreciate you and your time, man. I'm happy you even liked it.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna eat this tomorrow for breakfast.
Said that. What did I say? I said that.
Keith, I went shopping yesterday for you. I know you be doing all these reviews, and sometimes the food is really, really good, and you want to take some of it home. So I went shopping for you at Amazon. I got you something.
That's fire.
Hot bag.
Keep the leftovers.
That's what's up.
Fire. I appreciate you, man.
For real.
Just being here with you is more than a gift.
Appreciate you.
Hard times I was broke, remember saying throw 5 on 4. These days when it only
Let's see what this Chris J is. He got a couple
All
of
right,
songs
Shannon,
there.
this is where everything started, man. We was in here 2 years ago. We've been living here for like 3 or 4 years. This is where I had my babies at. This is where everything started for me as far as contracts for us fighting, food reviews, starting at Paw Patrol chair. Yeah, this is
Y'all know about the
the
chair.
mecca, for real.
The little
This
baby
is
chair he was sitting
The
on.
beginning of Keith Lee as we know it.
Absolutely. And then some.
Keep you humble, knowing you're doing it for
Yeah.
kids, man. That's what's up.
The days are warmer, the walks are longer,
All right,
and one
here we
easy
go,
way
here we
to
go.
help your dog shine this season is with fresh, healthy food from Farmer's Dog. Farmer's Dog makes fresh, real food and delivers it right to your door. Recipes are developed by vet nutritionists
Not that I don't
made from
like
real
dogs. I
meat
love
and
dogs.
veggies
Good
and
dogs.
proportioned just for
Now
your
listen,
dog, making it
don't
easy
poop
to say
everywhere.
goodbye to burnt brown
I'm
balls.
allergic to 'em,
Feed
so I
your
need a
dog
clean
real
dog.
food with real benefits.
trained.
My Pomeranian Teddy Love the stuff.
Tell you
And
when he
it's
want to go
cold,
outside
it's
to go
never
use the
looked better.
bathroom.
It's
Used to have one
smart,
like that. He
healthy
died.
pet food. You can feel
Might
good
get
about
another one, but
feeding
you got to
your
be
dog.
hyperallergenic.
It's the best option
It's
for
a
your
food
dog.
commercial,
All
food,
night
a
station.
commercial for dog
Because
food
it's
right
not
here.
kibble,
That's
it's
all it
not
is. Farmer's
canned
dog.
It's real healthy food.
Got a dog
And it doesn't matter if your dog is
on the
young
farm.
or old. It's always the right time
Farmer's
to begin
dog.
investing in their health.
Dog food for
That
your
means more happy, healthy, full years together. Get 50% off your first box of
Shark
fresh
Daddy
healthy
paid
food
off
from
that too.
farmersdog.com/Shay. Plus, you get free shipping. Just go to farmersdog.com/Shay to get 50%.
Hey man, this is insane to me. So literally we moved here in 2019 when me and my wife had no money coming in for real. When I say no money, we was trying to figure out how to even survive damn near. The rent was $1,000.
5 years ago.
We moved in.
$1,000 rent. I guess it's a real commercial. Stop it, y'all. And you got to the good part.
Both our babies here. The pandemic happened here. All of the videos that you see online happen here. Me even starting on TikTok because I always had bad social anxiety. So I never posted. Man, 4 years ago, you could never get me on camera.
Right.
So like this is where everything, me even getting comfortable to be on camera started. I don't know if you can feel it, but it's like I'm getting goosebumps, bro.
Right.
Like I ain't been here so long. I'm like, look, you can see that.
Yeah, so I see
arm
that standing up,
man. But yeah, this mean everything to me.
You probably still
You
renting that
mentioned that
apartment
you
out
started
too.
posting the TikTok videos to help with your
Still
stuttering,
do
to
the
help
videos
with
there.
your social anxiety, and also to help you because in MMA you're going to have to do interviews, and so you could be more fluid in your conversation. How did the TikTok, what made you think, say, you know what, let me get behind the camera, let me just talk, build up some courage to do this, and then once I get in front of people, I should be able to do it?
Sitting right here doing interviews. I had like a little table and I would sit do MMA interviews and I would be so bad. It would literally mess up my entire week. Like from the point where like the second I got to think about doing the interview to 3 or 4 days before the interview to the actual interview to a week after the interview, it literally would just like ruin me.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be sweating, I'd be nervous, I'd be clammy. So during the pandemic, we ain't really had nothing else to do. Like I said, she was pregnant. So my brother fought in Brazil, and the second he fought in Brazil, the pandemic started while I was out there.
Wow.
So she called me, and so they didn't really have the same news feed that they have out here. So when my wife called me, she like everybody taking stuff off the shelves, they panicking, they grabbing stuff, and they wearing masks. And this is when it first started. So people was wearing hazmat suits and all time. So she called me, and she was panicking. And I'm like, okay, as long as I can get back, then I'll be safe. But I was worried about getting back. And so by the time I got back, I was like, whatever we need to do to get this issue like under wraps even a little bit, I'm going to start doing. And TikTok at that point, it was either like you was made fun of for having it or people was like, bro, you missing out because this is where we in the house.
This is very important what he just said. He said that TikTok, I guess TikTok was brand new at that time. And he said people was laughing about it and everything else. And let me just encourage people who you want to start a business of your own or whatnot, or you got a vision of something that you want to do or whatnot. This is a rule of business that I learned some time ago. First of all, it's going to be violently opposed. Second of all, it's going to be ridiculed. And then third of all, it'll become self-evident. Everybody believe in it. You know what I'm saying? So basically what he's saying was he started on TikTok, which was brand new at the time, so it was violently opposed or in a ridiculing stage where people are laughing at people that's doing TikTok videos or whatever. I remember people was doing TikTok, but I'm not that heavy into social media. I got on Facebook because I happened to get on it. I didn't think MySpace, I never do none of that. And I'm still addicted to Facebook to this day. You understand what I'm saying? So it's self-evident now. That's the thing about it. How Facebook has remained relevant for over 15 years that I've been on there is, shout out to them for doing so. So that's basically what he's talking about. So remember, when you get started, people are going to oppose you, maybe violently. Matter of fact, the more violent it is, the more you should probably do it. You get what I'm saying? Then you might be ridiculed, you know what I'm saying, feeling stupid, or people try to make you feel stupid for what you're doing. But guess what? Just keep on doing it anyway. My mentor used to say, it's impossible to stop a man or woman that won't quit. And so once you get past the ridicule phase, you got a good thing going or whatnot, it becomes self-evident. That's where I'm at now. I'm going to be at the violently opposed phase. What Ron doing with that or whatever? What you doing now, Ron, or whatever? It's all right. God gave me a vision. I'm finna run with it. You know what I'm saying? And it might be ridiculed and everything else, but guess what? Eventually be self-evident. He's at the self-evident. He's beyond self-evident now. He's all over the place on Club Shay.
This is where everybody at. So
let's rewind it back so we don't miss nothing.
It was either like you was made fun of for having it or people was like, bro, you missing out because this.
I forgot to tell you, I'm a business major as well. This is stuff I knew before I got my degree in business stuff.
where everybody, we in the house, so this is where everybody at. So I think it's one of those things where God don't make no mistakes, and my wife was telling me to do it, so I was like, I might as well try it.
Seeing where you are now, seeing where you were then, what's going through your mind?
Emotions, bro. Like, I'm trying not to cry. I ain't gonna lie to you. Yeah, it's surreal because I remember vividly having conversations about the exact moment that we in right now. Coming back and rejoicing and having like that, like, I made it moment. And the fact that it's here, I don't even think it's I think it's impossible to put into words.
Right.
I just can't wait for my kids to be able to watch this, because I got a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, and both of them were born in this house. So I just can't wait for them to watch this and let them know their daddy made it. Yeah.
You mentioned the MMA aspect of
Self-evident.
it. So how did sports help you get over your anxiety? Because you're around people all the time. I mean, it's kind of hard to play sports and not have a conversation, not be having interaction. So did it help or hurt you playing sports?
I would say it kind of hurt me because the sports that I was playing, so I wrestled all from middle school to high school to my first year in college. And even my first year in college, the only reason I didn't wrestle all the way through is because I couldn't afford it, so I got kicked out. But I feel like the reason it hurt is because wrestling and MMA guys are very awkward anyway. And a lot of them go through a lot of eating disorders. They go through a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression, but it's not a thing that's spoke of in the sport. It's not a lot of people that come in the forefront and say it, because we MMA fighters, we like the modern day gladiators. We're supposed to be the tough guys. So I think a lot of it is hidden. So for me, once I got into the real world and I got into a space where I wasn't around nothing but fighters or wrestlers, it made me feel like the outcast. I always kind of felt like the outcast, even in wrestling, but even more so when I was in normal society, because it's a different level you got to turn off when you fighting. You know,
for sure,
being
absolutely, yeah.
It's a different level you got to turn off.
You really fight.
You locked in. So it's something that I feel like a lot of people don't have, to be able to switch on and switch off. So for me, it was hard to switch that off once I got into like a space where people looked at me more for doing cooking videos or more for doing food critic videos, and they looked at me for fighting. Because as you know, as a professional athlete, you think that's all you want to do for the rest of your life.
Correct.
So it was such a drastic change for me that I feel like fighting hurt a little bit. Because again, I didn't have that social interaction with people. All the social interaction with people I had was people that got kicked in the head for a living.
Right.
So it was like, they talk different, they act different, they have a different mindset. So once I got into this space, and I'm like, you don't worry about getting punched in the face.
But did it, because, like, as you mentioned, other fighters, they're kind of socially awkward, kind of like yourself. They have anxiety. They don't really care to be speaking on camera. Did it give you a certain level of comfort hanging around people that were kind of just like you? You guys had something in common.
Subconsciously, yeah. Because, like I said, you don't really know what you don't know.
Right.
I didn't know, because I don't really consider myself socially awkward. I consider myself a person who willfully exits from conversations and exit from social interactions. So again, it's something that you don't even realize until you get around other people and you like, wait, y'all be sitting here talking to people? Like, you be mingling?
Right.
Like, I never did that. Like, even at work, I don't do that.
Are you naturally an introverted person?
Absolutely. Yeah, 1,000%. I think a lot of it is trauma-based. I had a very traumatic childhood.
Okay.
My parents did the best that they could, because my mom and dad were always super involved. I've just always been kind of like a quiet, state of myself kind of person. And then when I didn't, and I tried to step out of that and tried to be like the life of the party and like the extrovert that would go out, party, drink, smoke, I always ended up in like, I was always the one that was targeted for some reason. Like,
right.
And I genuinely believe now in retrospect, it was because God was telling me that that's not for you, and you're trying to fit into something that don't belong for you. So I'm gonna make you an example, and I'm gonna stick you in the forefront. And I feel like that was always the example for me.
Being socially awkward as a child.
I had to stop. I said I'm an introverted expert or an extroverted introvert. You know what I'm saying? Born as an only child or whatnot, so I feel him all the way through. You know what I'm saying? But you know, when you're introvert and you're used to being to yourself or whatnot, everything else is going on looks so interesting. You get what I mean? That's why it's good for, you know, if you have sheltered children, you have to let them get a little bit outside, but you have to also do so with what they call parental discretion. You know, that may sound familiar because that's what came out on CDs and tapes and stuff like that. And I'll talk about that on another Show Improve video. Hopefully I'll do some more. We'll see. But check out Show Improve. I got about 10 episodes now. Show Improve, and it's some of the tightest flows I've ever heard. You know what I'm saying? Unorthodox songs, so it's not the songs that you would think from the artists that you would think they come from or whatnot. But what he's saying is, he found out that he wasn't about that. And sometimes that's what it takes. You get what I'm saying? Hopefully, you take an introvert and try to make him an extrovert or whatever, boy, go outside and play, that kind of stuff or whatever. Be careful with that because you have to instruct them to let them know what to do and what not to do and why things happen the way they are and what to look out for. You get what I'm saying? I'm the kind of person that I have respect so much for my grandparents and my mother that I'm almost to the point of being scared. It's definitely scared of letting them down. I was of age, so I wasn't scared of getting whooped or nothing like that. But of letting them down, that I didn't do what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it. I waited till I was 17. That's when I came off the porch, and then a whole lot of things started to unfold. I'm blessed to have navigated my way through that. Matter of fact, people that know me now that didn't know me back then can't believe that I've been there. But if we talk and we have conversations, I can let you know where I was at, what I've been a part of, what I've seen, what I've done, and everything else. It's nothing to brag about. It's just a fact. It's just my testimony. I've been tested. That's my testimony. 51 years old today, and the people who I started out with, a lot of them are not here no more. You know what I'm saying? And then the cat I came off the porch with, we got busy the first night. We came off the porch, got hustling. You know what I mean? The same night, he's doing 50 to life. You know what I mean? Sentence at the age 35. So that means he gonna be 85 by the time he's eligible for parole. You know what I'm saying? So God is good. God is amazing. That's why I continue to give him my glory. Matter of fact, if you're Facebook friends with me, I'm always posting about the Lord, and that's just how I feel about it. You talk to me, we're gonna go even more in depth. I love the Lord. You know what I'm saying? I'm thankful for what he's done for me, and I try my best to let my sons know, my two sons know, 31 and 25, the way to go and the way not to go. You know what I'm saying? I'm blessed now. Neither one of them got no criminal records. They don't have children yet. I'm waiting to be a grandfather. I mean, I talk too loud. I got one of them here, but ready to be a grandfather. But I'm not rushing. I'm not pushing. By the age I was 25, I told you one was 31 and the other was 25. By the time I was 25, I had two sons. You know what I'm saying? So they doing their thing. They don't know how blessed they are right now. You know what I mean? But I don't regret nothing though, especially not my two sons. Love both of them. All of this. You know what I mean? Let's go.
In the speech impediment, I still have a list. I talk with
Why you think I got a speech impediment? Where'd that come from?
It seems like you had a stuttering problem, correct?
Kinda, yeah. Okay, we can go speech impediment.
You do realize stuttering is a speech impediment.
But it wasn't necessarily stuttering. It was more or less of like trying to.
Nervous.
I guess it's stuttering. Yeah.
I feel him trying to get the words out.
You got it.
But the kids make fun of you and make you go deeper into being into yourself and deeper introverted.
No, if anything, I was the bully. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Okay.
I can guess.
Get it up.
Oh, I was an asshole, bro. Like, growing up as a kid, it wasn't me getting bullied. It was more the opposite because I was always real small. So when I graduated high school, I was like 4'11", maybe like 100 and...
Who you bullying at 4'11"?
Exactly.
He was a Lillard. Homeboys like the Lillards or something like that.
It was one of those things. I had a little man complex, like little man syndrome. So it was like the last thing you was about to do was me. And again, I wrestled all through high school, so I had that edge over a lot of people. But for the most part, I always was fighting. I was always arguing. I always had a problem with authority.
Y'all know what I'm talking about. You from my town.
For me, I never really realized that I was this introvert or this super quiet person until I got into spaces where I would be around other extroverts, or I got into spaces where, like, say, it was networking events, or like people looked at me something other than a fighter. So my older brother fought. He was in the UFC by the time I graduated high school. So I always was in his shadow.
Okay.
So for me, it was easy to be like, I'm just Kevin Lee's brother. Like, I don't really have to step out of that. Mm-hmm. So when all of this started taking off, and like I was Keith Lee, that's when everything like opened up for me, and I really saw like, oh, you really got an issue. Like, you really can't do interviews. You really can't talk to another human being for more than 5 minutes without you sweating bullets and like literally like want to shut off and just run in your room for the rest of the day.
Recharge.
That didn't really start until, like I said, like 2019, 2020. But as a kid, you couldn't tell me nothing.
So how was it at family time? Mm-hmm. Because you said, did you realize it? How is your family? Are they very talkative? Does, you guys sit around the television and carry on conversation or watch a program together? So how was it growing up with your brother? And, well, you said he was already in the UFC, so he's considered probably, 5-6 years older than you? 4
years. So I got a brother that's 4 years older than me, brother that's 4 years younger than me, and then I got a sister that's 7 years older than me.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So how was your childhood? How was your, you and your brothers, did y'all get along? Did you fight?
No. So we definitely didn't get along.
Okay.
But for me, I feel like the black sheep, but I feel like me and my sister argue about that a lot because she feel like she was a black sheep. But so my sister, she had godparents. So growing up, she was always with her godparents. And then it was me, my older brother, my younger brother. My older brother was a very smart kid, the kid who everybody like modeled after and everybody was like praising at all times. He always had like a 4.0 grade point average. He was in sports. He was light skinned, curly hair, pretty boy.
You do light skin too.
Way lighter than me.
Okay.
Yeah. And right, typical
you light skinned
B2K.
too.
Okay.
Like super curly.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I was always the darkest out of everybody in my family. I was small. The main thing about me as a kid, I always either hurt myself or I always like ended up in a situation to where I was the center of attention, but for the wrong reasons.
Hurt yourself or?
I was clumsy. So
Okay.
my head was the same size it is now. I was just 4'11".
Wow.
So it's like my neck wasn't strong enough to carry.
Right.
I got scars all back here. I got a scar on my forehead. You see here.
Yeah, I see.
I got scars all in here. When I say like that was a normal thing for us to have a family function and us to end up in the emergency room because Keith then bust his head open, had staples. That's happened to me at least, I would say 7 different times, 7 different occasions. And for me, like I said, childhood-wise, it was more or less of like, I was always trying to figure out where I belonged and why I belonged where I belonged, and I never could really like figure it out, so I was always longing for attention. I always had a problem with authority, and I would make it known that I had a problem with authority. So I was always the one getting suspended. I was always the one getting kicked out of school. I got kicked out of 5 or 6 different schools. I got expelled. When I say kicked out, I mean expelled from the whole school district.
Damn.
So yeah, it was like that.
Did you have a problem with, parents are authoritative figures. Did you have a problem with your parents?
Absolutely. Yeah, me and my dad used to get into it all the time. To the point where I moved out when I was 16 and with my god brother. And then when I moved back in, we ended up moving here. And then when I met my wife when I was 18. I was homeless at the time. Let me tell it. I ran away from home and was sleeping in my car.
You had a place.
Yeah, I had a place. I just wasn't staying. She'd tell you, I literally was sleeping in my car, and I never told her this until maybe like last year. I was working as a lifeguard. I would drive to work, and I had like a 2000 Nissan Maximum Super Bucket. I used to drive to work in it, and then as soon as I would get off of work, I would text her and be like, "Hey, I'm on my way over to you." Little does she know, I'm already sitting in the parking lot, and I've been sleeping there for 3 days. Wow. And I'm literally like on the phone with my cousin, with my sister, and telling them like what's going on. And she think I'm getting off of work, but the whole time I've been sleeping in the parking lot. I walk upstairs, take a shower, get some food, be like, "Oh, I'm headed back to work," just because I didn't want to be embarrassed. Walk back downstairs and sleep back in my car.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was happening for maybe like a month, maybe. Yeah, maybe like a month.
It's the people that have the worst struggles that get into the most success stuff. Man, sometimes you got to struggle more. That's crazy.
So my relationship with my parents have always been very rocky, but I take a lot of credit for it because my dad always tried the best that he possibly could. When he would come home, it would be like either you gonna do what I say or that's it. No other ifs, ands, or buts. I grew up in an old school household, so
Yes.
It was different for me because I've always been a big communicator. So you either got to explain to me why I'm doing what I'm doing or I'm not doing it.
No. Old school don't explain nothing.
Exactly.
Not at all.
That's a fact. I'm the
He
king of
said
the household, she the queen, and you listen to everything we say.
Yeah.
And that always was a problem for me.
Did your brother and sister have those same problems with your father, or they just like, okay?
No.
It just
No,
legit.
it was me. Yeah, but so it trickled down from me to my younger brother. So my younger brother now is in prison. And I believe a lot of it, no, it's okay. He horrible. He was bad. Yeah.
For you to say it, considering that
He
you
was
said
real
you were
bad.
bad,
Yeah.
he's
Like
bad.
it trickled down from me to him.
Okay.
But I think a lot of times it was more or less of, like I said, just a communication issue. So my sister, like I said, she was with my godparents. So by the time a lot of the traumatic stuff happened for me, she was already in Chicago where she went to school at. And then my older brother, he was already in college. So quick story. When I was in 11th grade, my brother had, like I said, he's 4 years older than me, so he had graduated already. He was in college. We were living so I'm originally from Detroit. So we were living in Detroit on 7 Mile Auto Drive. And my dad bought us a chopper bike. We bought my little brother a chopper bike. You know what a chopper bike is? It's like one of the bikes that had the real big tire on the front and then a real fat tire on the back.
Yeah.
He bought my little brother one of those, and he was riding around the neighborhood acting like he was the shit. And it was a group of kids across the street. Obviously, they didn't like it. Again, we still in the inner city of Detroit. So one day they stole his bike. We ended up going to get it back, and we put it back in the garage. One of the little boys from across the street came while we was asleep. It was just me, my mom, and my little brother. My dad was at work. He came in the garage while we was asleep, and I saw him. Nobody else saw him, so I walked outside and confronted him. He went to go take the bike anyway. I punched him in the face. He ran downstairs, told his brothers, told all of his cousins and whatnot. I go back in the house not thinking nothing of it. Maybe 5 minutes later, all you hear is like, it sounded like a war starting outside. All you hear is like people screaming and yelling. I go peek through the window, no exaggeration, it's probably 30 people, and they all running down the street, and they taking their shirts off. You already know what that means. They taking their shirts off, screaming. It's over with. It ain't even that you can say at this point. So, they full blown coming down the street. I go to close the window, acting like if they don't see me, then they'll go the opposite direction. Before you know it, there's a brick that comes through the front window, and it shattered all the glass. We had a glass that like was in the like, so the front door was here, and then the glass was here. It literally shattered through the living room. So now it's a big brick in my living room. My mom come downstairs and she panicking. She go to open the door. They rushed the door. They completely like trying to take me outside. They end up hitting my mama, and hit my little brother. But when this happened, of course, you know, my dad get a call. I handle my own. I like to think I still got jumped. So I go in the house, I call my dad, tell him. My brother ends up driving down because he went to school in Grand Valley. Was maybe like an hour and a half. He ended up driving down. Well, I'm a kid, so I don't know how far it felt, but it felt like it was probably like an hour. But he drive back. He pull up. My dad get a gun. Long story short, he go down, do whatever he was supposed to do at the house, with according to court documents. He went down and did whatever they said he did. And
hey, about
your older brother or your dad?
My dad.
Okay. Dad, yeah, he about that life.
The next morning, my dad's in jail. We still stand at the house. Maybe a week later, we get an eviction notice. They come. My brother went back to school by this point, so it's literally just me, my mom, and my little brother. We hear my dad gone. We get an eviction notice. They come and tell us like, "Hey, you got 2 or 3 days to get out," and we throwing everything on the curb. My mom's best friend used to live like on the opposite side of the block, but she had a house that she had just moved out of, and it was one of those situations like how I was telling you here, how when we moved out, we just didn't tell the landlord that we moved out, so the landlord was still thinking we there, but at this point we squatting basically. So we get evicted, we move over to that house, we squatting, and it was one of the darkest times in my life. And I'm telling you, I'm at this point of like not understanding really, but like fully like, what am I doing? My mom, she has no money at this point. We eating Checkers. Shout out to Checkers, because at this point I want a sponsorship. But we eating Checkers box, and they had popcorn chicken box, and it was like popcorn chicken and fries, and you get it for like $2, and we all get one a day, and that's all we was eating. So that, again, my older brother wasn't there, my older sister wasn't there. It was just me and my younger brother that had to go through that. And it was one of those things where I feel like that really molded me as a person of who I am. So that's probably why I act the way I act a little bit now as an adult.
As I was saying before, the struggle had more success. Sometimes you gotta go through something to go to something. I mean,
I feel like I've learned from a lot of it, and being in this house is really like reminding me of why I'm exactly where I'm at and where I'm supposed to be at.
Did that experience?
Damn, bro, you about to choke me up. Come on, man.
you about to cry.
That experience that you went through. Did that have anything to you say, you know what, I'm going to the MMA? I got jumped. I'm going to be able... Because you say you handle your own, but I mean, you can only do so much when it's 10, 5, 10,
There's
50
a bunch
people.
Of them. Not necessarily. I feel like...
Once again, I've been jumped before, too, and that's not a good experience. You know what I mean? And then the cat's going to come back. Lied the first day. They're going to come back the next day. But, you know, I'm an observant person. And mirrors all over the place. I see y'all don't see me. Let me hit my peeps real fast. Beep, 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 beep. Got some real ones to come through. You know what I'm saying? Some real, Chewy, rest in peace. You know what I'm saying? Clax, you know what I mean? Dale, you know what I'm saying? And it was my boy from the Hilltop area, not too far from where I got jumped from. You know what I mean? Pull up on a motorcycle, you know what I'm saying? That night we go through slapping Mac Dre, Too Hard for the Radio. Music loud. Ain't nobody outside though. He looking. We finna bring some attention. You know, this was in 90, so you know, having a beat or whatever, that's what everybody used to come outside. It's crazy though. The next day when he did come up there though, and I called him same people again, he reached into his coat to like, oh, what y'all want funk? Y'all want funk? You know what I mean? I'm like, nah. I ain't like you. Let's get it up one-on-one. Got witty. You know what I'm saying? So, shout out to this boy. But I'm not a fighter type of person, though. I love people. You know what I'm saying? So, that ain't my thing. Now, when I got down, that's one story. You know what I mean? But anyway, back to this right here. You know, there's been times where stuff just didn't make no sense. I'm put in a position, got to do what I got to do. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I was wrong, sometimes I was right. But that particular situation, handled it.
The main reason why I ended up fighting is because I got kicked out of school. I got kicked out of college. Well, I couldn't afford it. And they basically was like, either you give us $25,000 by tomorrow or the next day after that, or you got to leave. So I came back home to Vegas. And my brother, he saw me on the couch, and he saw I was depressed, and I didn't know what I was about to do. And he was like, bro, come to the gym with me. And he took me to the gym, and I never turned back.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So what did MMA give you? What does MMA do for Keith Lee?
Hard work. It gave me a lot of, like, resilience, and I feel like that's exactly what I take into this profession that I'm in now.
Resilience.
I feel like my work ethic is bar none. I honestly don't. That's why I don't compare myself to nobody, and I don't consider myself an influencer. I just consider myself Keith, and I feel like the reason I do that is because, not to sound cocky or sound like an asshole, but I'm him, Shannon. I'm one of them. I ain't gonna lie to
I
you.
wasn't ready for that. You say I'm him.
I take a lot of credit, and I give it to my wife, and I give it to my kids, and I give it to my sister, and the people in our family. We some dogs, bro. When I tell you, like, it might look like we just eating food, but even this last week, we've been in 4 different states, thugging it out the Sprinter van, and a lot of this we do with our own money, we do with our own time, and before you know it, we look up and we on food tour, and we've been outside in Sprinter van for 9 hours a day.
Wow.
And I feel like a lot of that is attested to my MMA background, because it's a different switch you got to turn on in order to really, like, lock everything out and just do what you feel like you're called to do, and that's what I feel like I take into food and anything else.
You got an 8-5 record in MMA. You won 3 by knockout, 1 by submission, and 4 by decision.
Mm-hmm.
What's the hardest part about MMA? I mean, look, there's everything. I mean, the back fist and kick you and hit you, elbow you and choke you out, man.
Absolutely.
Because really, people ain't really trying to go to the cards.
No.
If you try to be in the UFC, Dana won't action.
That's a fact. Yeah.
He won't action. So if you go get a couple of decisions, Dana go like, nah, you're not for the UFC. So what is the hardest part about MMA?
I can't speak for nobody else, but I feel like the reason why my record looked the way it did is because I had a brother that was already in it. So I didn't have a slow roll. If you go back and watch and see who I fought, I was jumping into the deep end immediately. Like, my first 3 fights was in Canada. Most people don't fight internationally until they get to their 10th, 15th pro fight. I was outside immediately. Right. So the hardest part for me was fighting guys that were out of my experience level, and not really having anybody to be like, relax, bro. Like, you ain't got to rush it. I was 18 fighting guys that had kids and wives and real life struggles. Right. So for me, I feel like that was the hardest part. But physically, the hardest part, I feel like if you were to beat me, it was pressure. It was guys that was coming forward nonstop, had nothing to lose, was willing to get knocked out. I always was a person who valued my footwork. Right. So I'm moving. Right. I don't want to get hit. Right. I don't like getting punched. I got a pretty face, Shannon. I want to keep this. It was guys who didn't care, bro. Yeah, it was guys who didn't give a damn. But yeah, once I didn't even really officially retire. My wife wanted me to officially retire, but everything kind of just took off in like the end of 2022. And in like December, I fought in September 2022. So right after that last fight, everything kind of took off. Right. But I feel like, the hardest part was just like, and it's relinquishing. It's like you have no control over what's about to happen. You just got to let it happen. And that's the hardest part for me. It's like just getting into that mindset of like, God, I trust you, and I know whatever is about to happen is about to happen, and it ain't nothing that I'm about to do. I can train for 8 weeks straight, the hardest training camp, be the most prepared, train with the world champions, train with everybody who they claim is the best. You go out there and get finished in 20 seconds. So it ain't really nothing you can do about it other than just let it be what it is.
You said you had a wrestling background, so clearly you're good at grappling. You try to take people down, get them off their feet. You don't want to, like you said, you don't want to get punched in the face. So the best way not to get punched in the face is get them on the mat and do what you need to do.
For sure.
So that was what you tried to do.
I was a hybrid, so I mixed it up really well, in my opinion. I came in an era where people was doing everything. So there was no more just grapplers or just strikers. There's very rare cases of it, and like somebody like Khabib, where he's a straight grappler. I came in like on the tail end of that. So like I said, I turned professional when I was in 2015 when I was 18 or 2014. So that was when literally you had to do everything. People on the grassroots level or like the amateur ranks, they was literally like switching stances already, stuff that most people don't do until, like I said, 20, 25 pro fights. They was fighting at 19, 18, grappling, striking. So I like to consider myself part of that generation.
What does it feel like to knock someone out, and what does it feel like to get knocked out?
So I've never been knocked out. I've been finished once in my entire career, and that was me being choked out.
Rear naked triangle?
Rear naked.
Okay.
So that was probably in that, and I feel like I love that you even brought that up. That fight right there was literally what made my life begin to where it's at right now. So I was in his house when it happened too, by the way. That's crazy. I was here when it happened. So I just had a contract with Bellator, which is the second biggest promotion in the world when it comes to MMA. I was 2-1 in the promotion. I had just beat they number 7th ranked guy and a number 8th ranked guy. And I had just lost to the number 1 ranked guy. So I'm thinking in my head, like, oh, it's just a bounce back fight. I'm fighting this guy that's like 7-0. I'm like, oh, this is going to put me right back into top contention. Because they had a tournament coming up at 135 to where the top 8 guys fought for $1 million. So the winner between me and the guy I fought that was 7-0 went into the tournament.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, like, mind you, I just fought number 7, number 8. This guy was, I think he was ranked number 12th at the time. I'm real cocky, Shannon. I'm like, oh, it's over with. Like, I'm already coming home and I'm telling her, like, what spot of the tournament I'm on. Man, what? I'm telling her what spot of the tournament I got. I'm telling her exactly what we about to do with the money. I'm taking the camp serious, but I'm going into it with that mindset of like, oh, it's over with.
Humble is the way.
I get smoked. I'm talking about whooped on. First time in my entire career. So at 8-5, I only had my 4 losses were by split decision.
Okay.
And split decisions to where like it could literally go like this, like razor thin. That was the only time where I got shut out and I got finished in the first round. He was, when I say jab, everything was landing. I was looking up like, how many people in here? I'm looking at his coaches like, how you gonna let him jump over the top and come punch me in the face? It's bad, bro. I look up, before you know it, he got my back, and it's maybe like 10 seconds left of the clock. And I could hear, so they do a smacker for the last 10 seconds. So I could hear the 10-second smacker, and you can see on my face in the video that I'm still there. He got the choke, but I'm like, I'm all right. I'm still scrambling. Before you know it, I go to lift up, I get up, and I run to the cage. I don't know. I've been out for like 3 seconds.
Wow.
And he looking at me out. You can go watch the video. I'm completely bloodied up. In my head, I didn't go out at all. In my head, I'm like, oh, this choke not even in. Oh, let me get up. Oh, I hear the time's over. Let me get up and run to my corner. Literally, I'm out. I wake up, my head snap back. I stand up and I stumble all the way over to the corner. And the ref, he picked me up and he like, it's over with. You can see in the video. I'm like,
I ain't never felt like that before.
I was out, gone. It felt like a movie. Like, it felt like, it's such a weird feeling because you still hear everything. You still feel everything. Like, you feel like you're watching somebody else. Yeah. Like, I felt like I was standing over myself and being like, oh, the choke not even in.
Right.
But the whole time, I'm like, gone. So for me, that felt like I said, it felt like a movie, but putting somebody else to sleep. That's one of the most amazing feelings. That's why I say it's a switch. You got to be a little crazy.
Right.
You got to be a little off to say it feel good to put somebody to sleep.
Right.
But when you in the heat of the moment, I feel like it's one of those like vindicating moments because the second, for anybody who's never fought before, the second that you know you won, everything from, so it's usually like an 8-week process that goes into fighting. And that's from cutting weight, that's from eating right, that's from making sure that you running in the morning.
Yeah, no sex, none of that.
None of that. I'm talking about like full-blown militant.
Right.
So the second that the fight is over, it could be from you finishing, putting a guy to sleep, everything comes crashing and you just feel like, oh, I can breathe now.
Right.
Like, so it's literally like when people say like it's a monkey on your back, that's no joke. Like, winning like Super Bowl, that's exactly what it feels like every fight. It's like somebody lifting somebody off your shoulders.
Right.
So it's like literally the second the fight is over, you just go, oh.
And then it shows that all that hard work, all that 8 weeks,
all of it
paid off.
Absolutely. It's one of the best feelings in the world.
What about a return? Are you interested in returning to the octagon?
It got to be a lot of money involved, Shannon.
Getting money now.
A lot of money.
That's what's up. That's what's
I got
up.
kids, man.
Mm-hmm.
And the main reason I even stopped training, like I said, there was never an official retirement. The main reason I even stopped
I want to be away from your kids.
is because you either got to do it or you're not going to do it at all.
Oh, yeah, it's all in.
It ain't no plan. It ain't no like, oh, I'm about to go on a food tour. I'm about to go drive around the city and I'm about to go eat and then I'm going to train. Ain't none of that.
No.
I trained with one of the best guys in the world. His name is Dewey Cooper. He trained Francis Ngannou. He's got like 4 or 5 different championships in the UFC alone. He a bad man. So it would, playing with him, it wouldn't know like, oh, I'm about to come in. I'm a celebrity. Ain't none of that, man. Go get on the bag.
Right.
So for me, it was either you gonna do it or you're not gonna do it at all. So that's probably the main decision. When I come back, I'm looking at my wife right now, and that's a no.
Yeah, she's on there.
Yeah, it's over with. Yeah, for sure.
So, have you ever met Dana?
I've met him like in passing,
Right.
Because like
That's not
my
why you love you.
brother fought for 10 years, but I never had like a full blown conversation with him.
So, do you still train? Like,
No, sir. You see me in this chair? I'm spread it out in this chair.
so there's. I mean, do you still work out?
Yeah, I play basketball.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
play.
it. No training, no mat, no glove work, no.
I'm blessed enough to say I got a lot of contracts right now, and all of those contracts says that I can't have any blemishes on my face.
Right.
So if I go train from just scar tissue from doing it for so long, my face is automatically either gonna swell up or it's gonna open up or it's gonna get cut real easy. And that mess up the money. I can't mess up the money.
Don't mess with the money.
Yeah.
We just saw the fight this weekend. John Jones took out Stipe. Now he's the heavyweight champ. He also took the belt from Cyril Gane.
I hate that whole conversation. We can talk about it. I hate that.
So you hate the conversation of GOAT?
I hate the conversation of him ducking from Tom.
Oh, no, I don't
I
believe it.
hate it, bro. Now we talking because I like to consider myself an MMA. What's the nerd?
Yeah,
geek,
aficionado.
all of that.
Okay, tell us about what you
think.
think about Bones.
I don't even think it's a conversation or it's a question that he's the best that we've ever seen do it by far. I hate the conversation of like he ducking time. We did this maybe like a year ago with Sergey Pavlovich. That's how you say his last name. Excuse me if I pronounce it wrong. But when he was coming through the ranks and he was killing people, everybody was like, oh, he got to fight Jones, and Jones scared of him. And then he got finished by Tom, and don't nobody talk about him no more.
Right.
It's like, don't nobody pay him no attention. But it's like, it's very annoying to see somebody, especially somebody that look like us, be in a space where it's like every single time you do something, it's something else that got to be done in order for you to submit your legacy. It's like he been doing this since I was a kid.
Yes.
He been doing it.
Well, he's been the champ since 2011.
That's insane. Yeah, that's insane. And he hasn't lost to anybody.
No.
If he was anybody else,
Right.
it wouldn't even be a question.
Right.
It wouldn't even be a conversation because when Khabib beat that was Gaethje, his last fight. When Khabib beat Gaethje, there wasn't a question of, oh, he got to come back and he got to fight Ilya to submit his legacy, or he got to come back, he got to fight Volk to submit his legacy, or he got to come back and he got to fight Holloway. It wasn't none of that. It wasn't even there's no
Why pay too much for cable TV when it costs less for Fubo TV? Get all the channels you want
Right there.
with all the entertainment you love.
conversation as we speak, revolving around his legacy, his greatness. But with Jones, he got to beat everybody and their mama in order to get any kind of recognition.
And then when he beats Aspinall, they're gonna come up with
smoke Aspinall.
They will come up with somebody else. Well, he got to wait till
It's
he's
always
40.
going to be something else. Yeah, it's always going to be something else. And even if he don't beat Aspinall, because it's the fight world, anything can happen, I don't think that takes away from the greatness that is John Jones and that always will be John Jones.
To have that type of reign for a decade and a half.
I don't think Tom doing that. I ain't going to lie. He might. Again, everything happens the way it's supposed to. But I feel like it's a little too late because, again, Tom is 27?
31, I think. I think he's 7 years younger than Jones.
I think the conversation's over with that.
Yeah,
Alone.
yeah.
Alone, even just his age.
Are you a boxing fan?
Every now and again, I watch. Yeah, I predicted Tank and Garcia in front of Tank. Literally, the punch, the round, and exactly how it's about to go.
Right.
Because again, I'm him, Shannon.
Who do you want to see? Who do you want to see Tank fight? People say they want to see a rematch. They want to see Tank fight Shakur. They want to see him fight Boots. So who would you like to see Tank fight?
That's a great question. I feel like there's so many options, but at the same time, I think a lot of people feel like he hasn't been tested yet because we are in this era of protect the O. But just from seeing him up close and watching him, so I trained at Mayweather's for years. So just seeing him up close, I feel like I'm about to sound like a tape recorder with anybody that's in his camp. Take him, bro. Take one of them. So I don't care who he fight. I feel like he is our generation's best, and I feel like
I'm listening, but I'm not really a boxing fan per se. Although I respect the craft. You know what I mean? So we're going to keep on going. I'm going to cut this video in just a moment and get ready for part 2 because I don't want this video to be too long. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, a movie. This right here, I'm almost an hour into it. We're going to cut this out in just a couple more minutes, and then we get to part 2. All right? Lord willing, get to part 2.
End of the day, when the smoke is clear, he going to come out of like really being one of them.
Where are you on this celebrity boxing? We just saw Jake Paul fight Tyson. We saw McGregor
I hated
fight.
that fight. I hated everything about that fight.
What did you hate about it? Do you think it was staged? Do you think what happened?
First, to the lead up, I told my wife that I can't be there because I was going to jump in the ring. I was wanting. It's Tyson, bro.
Right.
He's a legend of the sport. He's a legend of our community.
I used to watch
He's
Tyson.
Somebody who should be held to the highest regard.
Right.
I don't like that there was like this conversation of like
I may not like boxing, but I used to
competitiveness.
like
He's
Tyson,
60, bro. Like if we bring up any legend of any other race or demographic, there's no way that you touching one of their legends. But we allow our legends to get in there and
No, he allowed that.
mockery. I agree with you.
20 million
But us as
allowed
fans
that.
still was having conversations around the fight itself, like it was about to be a competitive or back and forth fight.
I mean, Keith, if what they're saying is true, the man made 20 mil. I mean,
I hear you. But is it?
And his
worth
money
it?
jumped for it. Now you got to realize, here's a guy that's made what $500, $600, $700 million, and I'm not so sure he has half of that. I'm not so sure he has a third of that.
I hear you.
And so $20 million at the age of 58, 59.
But you Mike
Hopefully they do
Tyson,
better
money
with
gonna come
that.
and go, right?
Yeah,
He's had way more than 20 million before.
for sure.
So in my mind is I know I watch Tyson very religiously, and I know he don't believe in legacy. But for me, it's not necessarily him. It's the kids that's below him. It's my kids. It's me. It's somebody who's watched him literally from the beginning. So to stand on integrity, this is one thing that I always preach to my kids. To stand on something that would last forever and that you can pass on to another generation. And that's as far as integrity, and that's as far as something a code that you stand behind. To stand on that is way more valuable than any amount of money.
Okay.
Yeah, for me.
So would you do a celebrity boxing match?
Maybe.
See?
Maybe. But
You
for
say the
me,
money has to be right. So they got
wouldn't
$5
be-
million.
Oh,
it
okay,
would, for
ain't
me, so money-wise, it would specifically be for professional fighting. That's where I say the money got to be right. Because, again, my life isn't in...
Yeah. No, this is celebrity.
But celebrity, the money don't necessarily got to be right. It got to be the right... One, it got to be the right fight. For me, I wouldn't fight necessarily the celebrity because I feel like it would erase what I've done for 10 years in MMA space.
Gotcha.
It would really just be to go out there and have fun, but still be competitive. So it'd have to be that middle ground of being competitive and still not getting cussed out by my wife because I'm getting cut and stuff.
Is there any way we could do a celebrity MMA fight?
Maybe we can be the first of the kind. Who you want to see me fight, Shannon?
I don't know who.
I'll fight Shannon.
You say you fought at 135. So
Oh, I'm not that at all right now.
What,
I'm
55?
a big boy. No, I'm solid. I'm
160. You're not more than 160 though.
way more than 160.
No, come on, Keith.
Way more.
Come on, Keith.
I'm solid, bro. I'm built like a brick house.
Okay, 163. 163.
No, not even close.
Okay, who are you gonna
I'm trying
fight?
to say you're not 190, Keith.
I'm like 180, 183. Solid.
I'm thinking 60, 80.
Feel that, Shannon.
Yeah,
Solid.
like 170. Give 170.
Still got a yolks on. I need to work out.
He kept asking Shannon who would he want to see you fight. If he threw out Jake Paul, what would be your response?
Nah.
Make that money, man.
He'll fight Jake Paul for
Don't make
money.
that money, man.
We want Chad. We're going on your seat.
You want on your seat, guys?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Stevie. Come on, Stevie.
Jake Paul,
Yeah.
you say, you know what?
Yeah. Come on,
We
Stevie.
want Ocho.
Okay.
Yeah, come on, Stevie.
I love Ocho.
completely- I didn't even- yeah, go ahead.
Johnson is something
Talk
else.
Let me do it like this. Last year, my co-host, we were talking about you was critiquing a restaurant, and Ocho said something. You
Hold
responded.
on. Look, I'm gonna start right here because they just transitioned. So look, I appreciate you if you made it to this far. thank you very, very much. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This page. We're gonna have the Father Lessons page, where I talked about, like I said, reaction from Pop the Balloon and Find Love. If you haven't seen an episode, you gotta watch that. You gotta check that out with me. Yeah, my son. All right, that's from me and my oldest son. And then also some older videos, show and prove. Talk about some of the best flows I've ever heard. And then last but not least, though, I'm about to get back on this one again, too. I've been transitioning and just dealing with it because, violently opposed, that thing or whatever. But it's called Dilemma of a Good Man. So, you know what I mean? If you want to know what a good man is, there you go. Check out the very first episode, or it's actually the second episode, which came from the first episode. So it led me to go ahead and turn it into a series. 32 minutes long. It's called Dilemma of a Good Man. What is a good man? It's basically about what is a good man, episode 2. So make sure you check that out. But just check out that series. Just short stories of dealing with the opposite sex. You know what I'm saying? So that and Pop the Balloon and Find Love are going to kind of coincide with one another. You know what I mean? But I'm going to change the name, I believe, to Dilemma of a Good One, because the women didn't see how they tied into it, but women have situations too. So hopefully my situation, they can take it, they can interpret and understand their situation a little bit more. And let's bring some more men and women together. You know what I'm saying? Pop the balloon and find love, or find love. That's what they're doing. It's a husband and a wife. They're working to bring a couple of couples together. This right here is just something I'm doing on my own. Flavor to Savor. We're going to just find just different culinary type items and stuff like that to talk about or whatnot, because again, food is where my heart is. I can't even lie. You know what I'm saying? And yes, I'm a great cook, and I love to see what good restaurants and everything else. So that's going to be another one. And then, again, last but not least, show and prove. Talking about the music and everything. That's the DJ Ron, the classic DJ from the Bay. Talk about that. But as of now, this is Chef Ron, Part 1, Flavor to Savor, Episode 1. Part 1 of Episode 1. Club Shay with Keith Lee. About to get right into Episode 2 right about now. It's not that I'm want to quit or nothing like that. I'm just going to stop here, and then we're going to start the next video and, probably release both of them around the same time, and then we'll do Part 3. All right? So take care. Make sure you go to the next video. It's not the only video. There'll be more. Take care. As always, God bless.